been, what, 2.5 years ago? Probably when we first met?
Yes.
Is that right? So
Yes.
how did you choose to get a hold of me?
Okay. Well, it was a mutual friend of ours.
Sure.
Yes. So we had found an exterior that we loved and had looked at the floor plan and didn't love that. And then had originally reached out to that architect, and that wasn't going to be a good fit. So I asked Cheryl if she knew of anybody, and she had mentioned your name.
Yeah.
So then I gave you a call, and we met up, and you seemed excited about the project too.
Yeah, I got to back off a little bit on that because I remember you first called me and you said, hey, we found these house plans online. And so as an architect, I sit there and think, okay, houseplans.com, boring, standard old homes. We're just going to reproduce that. I was like, well, why don't you just go talk to the other architect and see if they can do it for you? And I was like, I don't know if I really want this house. It wasn't you personally.
Thank you for being honest, Chad. Thank you for being honest.
Personally, but then you called me back and said, well, you know, we'd really like to work with somebody here locally. And so I said, well, send me over what you guys found. And Austin sent me the photos of it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I said, I think we can work with this. And so then you threw the little loophole and there's like, well, here's the plan, but we don't want to look anything like that floor plan wise. And I'm like, oh, okay. Here the challenge comes into play is how do we take this form, which the form you basically have is this beautiful center area. And then you have basically 3 pods is how I kind of describe it. And you kind of describe it as, what are the pods?
Yeah, well, it's kind of the adult section, and then the entertainment section, and then the kids zone, kids section.
That's right. So,
Yeah.
So that part was fun, was figuring out how to warp. And I think probably the trickiest part was the kids section.
Yeah.
We had a lot of spaces to kind of cram into that little space and how to
Yes.
get that flow to work through. So
Yeah.
that was probably the big one for me.
Yeah, we had those specific things we really wanted, like the Jack and Jack bathroom. We knew, so that did leave us with some kind of weird spots, and then with the pantry kind of going into that area too.
Yeah.
We had some challenges to kind of work through.
Yeah, and I remember that pantry because I kept trying to hide it. I'm like, let's just put a cabinet there. We'll have like a hidden pantry. Like, no, I want to show it off. I want to show it off. That was probably one of the best things about working with her is she had a vision for this. And we had a guy, Austin, her husband, who could figure out how to actually do it. So it's one thing to have the vision, but then to be able to actually do it,
Yeah.
that's just like the perfect thing, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.